Games were not working on the Facebook ecosystem. I did it because I saw this ocean. I saw two oceans, two bodies of water, social networking and video games. So I was thinking, okay, if this works, it opens a little crack into mass market casual gaming. And I had this belief. One of the things I talk about in the book that I just fucking love, and I will encourage your listeners to consider, this is available to all of us all the time. Find a mature market that's over, that's done, that's dead, that's been played out. Online dating, eBay with listings, or analog businesses that are not attractive. They're almost not investable. Like VCs won't like them. They're red oceans. They're not growth markets. Find a market like that, but it has a lot of money in it and it has a proven behavior in it. And that's video gaming. By the way, here's a gift. Here's an Easter egg. Take video gaming. In 2007, it was a $23 billion industry. It was barely growing. It wasn't a top 10 behavior on the consumer web. And it was stupid to go into. But it was not fundable, okay? Here we are 19 years later. It's a $283 billion industry that's not fundable, okay? It's not growing. It's mature. You'd have a really tough time getting a VC to fund it. Perfect place to try to do something innovative, because if you can find a new dimension to this that sparks people, you don't have to prove that anyone's going to do it or wants it or is going to spend money on it. It's unlimited, right? And that was search when Google showed up. So I do love that. And I was thinking like that when I started Zynga, because the year or two before, I was trying to buy CNET. They were a public company. And I said, I need a gigantic captive consumer audience to test ideas like gaming. I need to solve distribution. Consumer was not investable because of distribution. Today, consumer is not investable because of distribution. It's a perfect parallel. The new thing then was social networking. The new thing today is AI and agents. This is like a mirror, in time. So we are living today in 2007. Go for it. Consumer's not investable. Do consumer.
You've made these bold claims multiple times, and I love that. You did it with investing. You said, I believe this. You have a point of view, which I like. And I think people who have points of view where they're confident, they're either stupid or they're well-read and educated, and that has shaped it, their point of view, and that's why they're confident. You seem in that category. Do you have any good honeypots of information that you consume on a regular basis that aren't well known that you could fill us in on? Like people you follow on Twitter, people you follow on Substack, books, newspapers, anything that shapes how you think?
Yeah. They're really wide-ranging and disparate. I gravitate towards people that have, non-mainstream, more contrarian views. I love everything Peter Thiel says. It's like catnip for me. I just heard him talk, and he's saying that we've lived in this 50 years of stagnation, even though the economy, GDP, stock market's up so much. When we think about how people live and how the gap in how our parents live versus their parents, we didn't see that gap again from our parents to us, and now the next generation, the kids of the 90s and the early 2000s, they don't look at their life and opportunity. If our parents were in my parents, in the 1960s and 70s, their parents were in the 1930s and 40s, and you think about that difference, and the middle class was formed and so much. And so Peter's kind of coming at this thing from the same problem, but the opposite side of the Democratic Socialists and the far left progressive Democrats. And he's saying the only solution is growth. We've got to grow the economy and grow the opportunity base for the middle class and for people in order to save capitalism and democracy. And I thought, I hadn't thought about it in that way, because I think of the last 50 years as unbelievable growth in the worldwide standards of living and in technology and, stock markets and all these things. But But I thought that was a really brilliant insight that's got me thinking. But I'd say that who I follow, I love Pirate Wires, Mike Solano, and there's so many insights that they've had early that were not mainstream, that have changed my thinking.
Do you read a lot of books? What genre of books do you like?
I have a lot of trouble reading books. I do books on tape. I'll tell you that I listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm walking or driving, but I get a lot, and I connect with a lot of friends around social political issues first, where we have, non-mainstream views. I mean, like I came out for Trump, a few days before the election. That was not a mainstream or popular thing in my community to do. But I guess I pay a lot of attention to people that break through in any way in consumer. That's probably something that I pay more attention to. And I think it was announced like 2 weeks ago or something. I invest in this company, FOMO. When I find the resume for me in consumer is traction. I have no idea who or why. I mean, but when I cold mailed Shane at Polymarket on Twitter when they broke through. So, I would pay a lot of attention to anyone who's getting heat in consumer because it's so broken and it's so rare. So, I think those are good leads.